Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Nerds Corner. It's a little spooky-fied edition. I'm Way of the Lock,
And I'm Alan.
and today we have a special guest, which I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hey, I'm Kyle Valley.
Hi, I'm Erin Anya.
And what do you guys, what do you guys do?
So we're basically a producing partner. We came out with the movie Zombicon Volume 1 recently, and kind of just filmmakers in general and actors. So kind
Okay,
of everything.
okay. Now, my co-host here saw it. I've been busy with work. I've been busy with work, so I haven't seen it yet. I will be planning to see it tonight. But can you tell me, would you mind telling me what Volume 1 is about? Getting me
Yeah,
hyped up for it?
absolutely. So, Volume 1 follows these group of friends, four characters, they're cosplayers, best friends, and they're just doing their thing, living their life, doing what they love, attending cons, and unbeknownst to them, a magic rock is involved, a wish gets made, and all the assholes in the world get turned into zombies.
Hmm.
So this is the world of ZombieCon Volume 1. Our cosplayers now have to reconcile with the fact that everything, they're in the middle of Los Angeles, so everything is basically crumbling. And they have a loved one trapped in another part of the city, and they have to decide if they're going to hunker down and protect themselves or head out into the city dressed up, geared up with all their garb, and try and protect them the best they can. So we'll let you watch the film to see what happens there.
Okay, okay. Now, I was gonna say, Alan, I'll let you take it over. If you have any questions, just remember, don't spoil it for me. But I'm sure you got a bunch of questions because you said you got a chance to watch it.
Yeah, like what got you into like making a zombie con?
So, in regards to the cosplay element and the zombie element, it's kind of a two-part answer. Uh, we had done a number of short films and web series prior to making ZombieCon, and this is circa 2000, 15, 2016. YouTube was kind of, obviously YouTube is now like kind of king. Back then, YouTube was still kind of a new thing. People weren't really too hip to like streaming services and stuff. And so we started to actually produce our own streaming service with basically no budget. And we put up all of our short films, we put up our web series and all this stuff. We weren't able to get any kind of traction. Unfortunately, because of that, we're like, well, I guess we got to go bigger. So I guess I shouldn't say unfortunately, fortunately. So we're like, okay, well, if we make a feature film, then hopefully someone will pay some attention to this thing. And that got us started down the path of, okay, well, what could we do realistically within the very modest means that we had at the time? And zombie films seem fairly synonymous, in my mind at least. I'm a huge zombie horror fan, like with a first time filmmaker's first film, thinking like especially, Ramiro back in the day, getting the community involved and, getting the butcher to bring out meat and all kinds of organs and stuff to help like zombify the crowd. And
Hey,
so we were pretty much locked into zombies. Then trying to find a way to make it different, right? Because I'm a huge zombie lover, and like I didn't want to copy anything that I had seen and try to put my own twist on it. And while searching for what could make our zombie film a little bit different, I found myself in my brother's house in Orlando, Florida, or in the area of Orlando. And he's a huge movie prop collector. He's got like a ton of like movie prop replicas, like there's Predator masks that they always have on sale. He's got like a whole wall of them, and like that's been his passion his entire life. So he's got like a basically he's been spending all the extra money he's ever made on movie props. And so I'm in like this museum of a house,
hey.
and I look at the wall and I'm seeing some stuff, and I see a Captain America shield, and I'm like, that would be pretty good self defense weapon in a zombie apocalypse. Like you could just grab that off the wall. I mean, it would actually be functional. And I'm seeing
Hey.
other stuff, and I'm like, you could attack a zombie with that. That would be a good bludgeon. This would be a great weapon. And I'm like,
So,
oh, that could be kind of our angle.
I have a quick question. So, because I just did not realize, because the actors or the characters are cosplayers. So, like, are they using their props as weapons?
Yeah. So
Okay.
because we couldn't obviously afford, a bunch of like realistic movie props, right,
Yeah.
for a low budget film. We had to go in a slightly different direction from like a movie prop collector to cosplayers. And I'm a cosplayer, so like I'm like, well, I mean, I can make this stuff out of EVA foam, and that's a pretty hard material, especially when you put plastic dip on it, which is like one of the final processes before painting. It's like you really can't bite through that stuff. That would be a great like armor, and it's lightweight, easy to move in. So that paired with a few, I'm a huge anime fan. So it's like I can get my dream of having like a sword wall and like getting all these katanas and stuff. And I figured that'd be an awesome way to dispatch some zombies and also add some like anime flair into the film. Trying to mix the genres a little bit.
Yeah, and it's also clever too. Like you said, you save money and you don't gotta like try and find these like the like the metal looking props, and instead you're like, you know what? Let me just I got this stuff I can make, and let me just say I know what you mean. That's clever. I like that.
Thank you.
That's very smart.
Was like The Walking Dead your kind of like your inspiration for ZombieCon, or was it like just zombies in general?
So Walking Dead is one of my favorites. Actually, Erin's got a cool story. She was in a film with one of the leads from The Walking Dead. I'll let her tell it, but I would say that it's not necessarily The Walking Dead specifically. It'd probably be a mixture of like Walking Dead, Resident Evil, a little bit of Shaun of the Dead, the Ramiro kind of zombie universe. I mean, I'm a cinephile, so I kind of love all this stuff. And I think I internalized mentally in my subconscious a lot of the things that I see, just like we all do. So when I was trying to write for this movie, I wasn't specifically trying to like look at any movie or any show specifically and say, okay, I'm going to do that, but my version of it. I was trying to kind of what an actor does before they get to set and actually perform. You absorb as much as you can, and then right before you put pen to paper, you let it all go and you let your creativity kind of ride shotgun in your head. And, you just see where it goes and where it takes you. To just try to do something that's totally unique because I want to pay homage to obviously all of the fantastic zombie pieces that came before us, but I don't want to copy anyone. I wanted it to be like our thing and our own creative vision. So
Yeah, I do want to hear which the story about you were working with one of the main actors. Which actor was it from The Walking Dead?
So Melissa McBride was actually like way back in the day a casting director in Atlanta and an actor. And she cast me and worked as my mother in a short film. And so the two of us were like just we work together amazingly. She's fantastic. She's super talented. And I had an amazing experience working with her. And on The Walking Dead, she's the one with the shaved head and that has the spin-off series afterward because she survived so many different seasons. It's been a long time since I've seen Walking Dead, and I didn't see all the seasons. Do you remember the spin-off?
I think I'm vaguely remembering. Like I said, like you said, I haven't seen it in a while either. I can't remember when I stopped, but the character does sound familiar. I think I know which one you're talking about.
but another cool story about The Walking Dead, actually, we just filmed a vertical series for the streaming service Screamify, and
Okay.
it takes place in an autonomous vehicle. It's like the first horror thing to ever be shot in an autonomous car, and like this thing, takes this couple like on a nightmare, a nightmare fueled adventure.
Huh.
But for the filming of the vertical, we had to find a location in the Atlanta area where we had a desolate road kind of in the middle of woods, which you would think would be like, oh yeah, that's easy to find, and it's not. It's very hard to find a two-way paved road with yellow lines in the middle with just trees on either side that you can affordably shut down with cops and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
on my search, I found one road. I think it's Creek Crook Road, out probably 45 minutes, an hour from Atlanta, Georgia. And this road apparently is super famous. When I was booking it, everyone was like, "This is the Walking Dead road." Like almost every shot you've seen in The Walking Dead, where they're on a road with forest on either side walking, they're using that location, just dressing it slightly differently for like
Yeah.
throughout all the seasons. So that was pretty cool to be able to
Yeah.
like kind of tread the same ground.
It was
Yeah. Like
Carol from The Walking Dead.
it
Had
was
to look
who?
by myself. Carol.
Oh, okay, okay. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, I don't want to try to like spoil anything for anybody, for the ones who hasn't seen it. But that one specific suit that Javi wears, was that kind of like a homage?
Yes, yes, it absolutely was. So it definitely had, obviously, a little bit of Green Ranger influence, but it was also like when I was designing the armor that he's wearing, I was trying to mix the Green Ranger armor with Saiyan armor and try to like put it
oh,
together.
I
And that
see.
was
I
my
see.
kind of version of that.
Okay, okay. Oh, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see that then.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Easter eggs in it.
What when you were talking about anime swords, you don't have to tell me which swords it is, but are there any of the big swords from Naruto?
Not from Naruto, mainly because I was limited to what we could afford on Amazon at the time.
Okay.
So when we were buying, because I mean, look, I would have loved to have like custom swords made, but I had to
Yeah.
choose from my favorite anime and what was also available. Now, luckily, I'm a well versed anime lover. I've seen like hundreds of anime, so it wasn't like too hard to find things. And I did get some really, really nice ones. Like I got Tetsaiga from not Yu Yu Hakusho, from the guy with the white hair. I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Uh,
Uh.
anyway, the sword's Tetsaiga. Okay, I'll remember the name in a second. I got a bunch of bleach swords
Okay.
from the captains, so they're in there, and I think you, yeah, Inuyasha's. That's right. Thank you. I got Roni Kenshin's sword in there,
Okay.
which was pretty cool. That was one of my favorite anime growing up, alongside Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Let me think. I think that probably the coolest sword was Renji's sword, though, from Bleach, because it was the Unleashed. I think it's the Shikai, not the Bankai, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's the one where it's like it's long with like the 10 spikes sticking off, or like
Serrated.
seven
Oh, okay.
spikes
I
sticking
know. I
off.
know which one you mean. I got you. I got you.
And
That's
Mihawk
that's
from One
cool.
Piece.
Oh yeah, we had Mihawk's sword from One Piece, and there was
Oh.
One
Okay.
Piece sword in there.
Ooh.
That was like one of the demon swords that Zoro picks up. It's the red one. I don't remember the name. I'm terrible with names. I can
It,
remember like in my head I can visually see everything, but name wise I'm like usually drawing a blank on everything. Character
that's.
names,
I was
everything.
gonna say that's why I come in. That's why I relate too, because like it. If I see the picture, I can be like, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But for
Right.
the life of me, names are just out the window.
I need
So with
flashcards for these animes.
Yeah.
so with like the speaking of animes, the anime show or movies or whatever that you picked for the movie, did you like ask the studios that created them if you could use them for your movie, or did you have to, or what was the process for that?
I actually we couldn't afford to get licensing for anything. I would have loved to put in some, animes that I loved, and I'm so appreciative that you said that, you thought we possibly licensed them. I actually made those for the film specifically. I drew everything, I animated everything, digitally put
Nice.
it together. I voiced over for all the acting roles in the animes. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, added it in post.
That's cool. That's like a man, man of many talents, skills, talents. That's right term. Yes. Jack of all
It
trades.
took a
That's what
very
I'm thinking
long
about.
time.
So like, what kind of advice would you have for like future filmmakers and like people who want to get into acting?
Hello,
Oh,
are we back?
hold on. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Ooh, we almost. Okay, I repeated. I don't think they heard the question. I was repeat that one again.
In case you haven't heard the question, like, what's your advice for like people who want to get into like filmmaking or acting in general? Like, what advice would you want to give them?
So, well, I'll let Aaron take the acting side.
From the acting side, I started when I was, I think, like 9 or 10 years old, being professionally represented in Atlanta before Atlanta has become, what it now is. And I went in with all the optimism in the world and having no idea what a steep climb it would be, and just knowing that this is something that I love doing. So as long as you're passionate about it and it's something that you know that you really want to do, go in being like, look, it might take a while, it might be overnight, it might be a lifelong journey that doesn't work out, but regardless, if it's something that you really want to do and it makes you happy and you're passionate about it, then it's worth pursuing. And doing it should make you happy, even if it's not being as quickly, successful as you hope that it would. So knowing why you're coming in and doing it is half the battle in and of itself. And making sure that it's something that really, really fulfills you and it's what you want to do, you're already 99% there just by knowing the reasons why you're getting into it. And also making sure that you're not getting discouraged by the amount of no's, because just like with any pursuit that's difficult in life, and certainly with acting or with producing or with directing or with having your own production company, you're going to get so many no's that if you start taking as fact, you would never continue. So
Not that.
yeah, keep fast to why you're doing what you're doing and knowing that it's what you love and bettering your craft and building connections, and you'll get there. To a certain extent you will get there and you will be happy, but it's going to take a long time and you're going to face a lot of rejection. So have the why and have the passion behind it really always right there with you.
Yeah, and I'd say for filmmaking, I mean, again, the world has changed so much since we started our journey, and the internet has made things so much more accessible. So I think even for acting, right, you have the opportunity that if it's something like Aaron was saying, it kind of comes down to passion. If it's something that makes you happy and it's something that you want to pursue, you can now pursue it with your phone. You can pursue it with a group of friends. Don't get hung up on having all of the biggest toys or this huge budget or all this stuff, because at the end of the day it's a creative art form, all of it, acting, filmmaking. And if you're creative and you want to express that creativity to the world, go try find a way to do it within the means that you have available for you, and start putting out content. You'll get better at it, you'll meet more people. With through those people you'll be able to build resources together and build connections. Someone might have a camera, someone might have audio equipment, someone might have a house for a location, someone might be good at doing makeup, and you'll start finding your tribe of people. And as you kind of keep coming together and keep doing things, that tribe will expand and the projects will get bigger and better as you learn from your mistakes and you kind of keep pursuing it. In regards to like the nitty gritty of the technical side, yeah, I think back when I was starting, I didn't go to film school. I'm self taught off YouTube. So I'm a huge proponent of every resource you need to teach yourself how to use every program, every single piece of gear. Everything is available on YouTube. Amazingly talented people have spent so much time putting up so many tutorials on literally everything that you've got a free film school at your fingertips. All you have to sit through is a couple ads every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's when you were saying you were self-taught. That's something I can get behind, because I haven't made videos like it in a while. But there was a time I tried dibbled my toes in like voice acting or voiceovers, and it was something that I enjoyed doing. I kind of had to put it on the shelf for a bit, and I'm really trying to get back into it.
That's exciting. I love voiceover stuff. Obviously, going back to anime, like
Oh
a
yeah.
full circle here. Like
Yeah.
I love voice acting work. I haven't really done any of it specifically apart for our own films. But when I was able to do the anime characters for the anime and the film, like that was some of the most fun I ever had, was like being, my version of all these Dragon Ball Z, S characters, and like, oh, get you. Ah!
Yo, that sounds fun.
And I believe you told me that you had like the volume two through five already written.
Yeah.
That's right. 2 through 5, the
Okay.
screenplays are already done, and then all the way through volume 10 is mapped out, because this is an anime inspired movie and franchise. So it was kind of like ZombieCon Volume 1 is the opening episode, if you will. It's setting up the characters and
Yeah.
it's world building, but we've got a lot of story to tell. And so
Yeah.
we're hopeful that we'll be in pre-production on Volume 2 by the end of this year.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I did not write volume 2 through 5 to be budget friendly, which was, look, I wrote them probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago before ZombieCon was ever close to coming out. And so I figured if ZombieCon got out there and it got a following, got an audience, we'd be able to get like, an actual budget to do something. So I wrote them with uh, liberal creativity in regards to the battle scenes and the ferocity of like the entire thing. And it is definitely, it takes it up about 10 notches in terms of action and set pieces that we couldn't necessarily afford for the first one.
Yeah. It's like, well, usually when it comes to these different series, you always want to try and, I'm trying to think how to word it, like be better than what you did before. Because it's like, so there's this content creator I follow, and there's this one thing he said where today's art is not yesterday's art, and you always go to like try to improve yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
That's kind of the story of life, right? We're
Yeah.
all we're all working at whatever we're working on, and the goal is just to be a little bit better tomorrow than you were the day before.
Yeah.
And even if that's a journey of 1,000 steps, even half a step a day, consistency is key. Keep walking your path, and before you know it, you'll open your eyes and you'll wake up and you'll be at your goal.
Yeah, it's like with we just on the Nerds Corner we reached the first of the many small milestones, which is we got to the 100 subscriber mark for the channel. So
Yay!
yes,
That's awesome.
it was like what I think it was like midnight or 1 in the morning. I'm like laying down because I had work in the morning. All of a sudden, Alan messages me multiple times. Oh my god, guess what? We did it. Wait, hold on, let me tell you what we did. And he screenshots it. I'm like, oh, like I didn't know how to react because he kind of caught me when I was laying down, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then I went, oh shit. I was like, oh my gosh, that's 100, big old hundo.
That's awesome.
It's a huge milestone. I'm sure the first of many, but that's
Yes.
fantastic.
But yeah, and then what was the other thing? Could now you guys are the script writer. Well, that's a stupid question. Obviously, you guys are the script writers. I don't write scripts. I back in the day I used to do some writing, and I kind of fell off of it, and I could never get like the groove back into writing. And did you guys have like any advice for, well, besides myself, but other people that are trying to get into the groove of writing that hit that kind of writer's block?
Yeah, for me specifically, I have a in terms of writing, I have a very different process from anyone that I've talked to. Uh, but I can give my perspective if it helps.
Yeah,
The way that I do it is I usually have an idea about a story, kind of where I want it to begin, right, where I want it to end. So I've got my bookends for my story in my head, and then I start kind of writing down the characters. Okay, so we're gonna have this character, gonna have this character, gonna have that character, and then just kind of let the characters play. I mean, you're writing these characters, you have them in your head. Just watch them do what they do. Let the movie kind of play up here, and just record kind of what you're seeing as you
yeah,
go through. And if you ever get stuck, a good piece of advice that I've heard that I've used that was been really helpful to me, because I mean I think everyone gets stuck occasionally, is to say, what is it that I would never do right here? This would be the worst. What is the worst idea that I could write right here? And if you
okay,
start, you like, and if you just kind of, it's kind of like reverse psychology on yourself. You start going, well, that would be a terrible idea. That would be a terrible idea. That would be a terrible idea. Because it's so easy, I guess, for a lot of people, myself included, like to be almost negative about your work as
yeah,
opposed to like trying to make it perfect and you're trying to really craft it. And I found that just being like, oh, yeah, I would definitely not do that. Then you start laughing to yourself. You're like, no, they want to get dressed up like pink bunny rabbits and start, running around. Like, that's
Yeah.
not what they would do here. And then
Yeah.
it kind of just sets like that creativity muscle.
Yeah.
And then you'll find yourself kind of falling in. Oh, yeah, but if I did this version of that, oh, that would work there. Or that
And
could
then
work like this.
and then you'll be like, oh wait a minute, this ties in with that, so I could do that, and it just puts all the pieces together. I gotcha.
Yep, like a pinball, right? It's like once you get
Yeah.
that thing moving, it just starts bouncing off things, and you're like, oh, yep, and you start grabbing all the ideas and throwing them down.
And you put it all together like one big old puzzle piece.
That's it.
Exactly.
Sorry, guys, I'm back.
Oh,
Having
tis
fun,
all.
I would say having fun with the characters, and like you were saying, never forgetting that it's all about play. You know, you're thinking about from their each of their perspectives, but also from an audience member standpoint, you're watching it all play out. What would you want to see? Sky's the limit in terms of creativity because
Okay.
you have pen and paper and the characters in your head, and
Yeah.
as long as you're not too self-editing as you go, you can just explore what happens like and see if it doesn't quite connect. It possibly make better or make sharper, but you have to really just let things flow and have fun with it.
Alright, I like that. I like that. What were you gonna say, Alan? You got anything?
Yeah, would you like to tell our audience like where to find the movie so they can watch it?
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Like all the different platforms?
We'll let our guest
So-
say.
Yeah, so currently, Zombicon Volume 1 is available in the US and Canada, and basically anywhere that you can buy or rent movies on VOD, but also, so Apple TV, Amazon Prime, anything like that, YouTube movies, but also it's streaming on Screamify if you're subscribed to that. It's for free on Tubi and Plex and a couple others of those. And excitingly,
Oh, wait, it also has we have a DVD too
we have the DVD.
that has special deleted scenes and behind the scenes features that are not available in the digital version, including a filmmaker's commentary that we got to record, which was like a really pinch me moment because I love behind the scenes features on DVDs ever since I was a little kid. So
Yeah.
getting to do one of those ourselves was like, oh, this is pretty neat.
Awesome. But we actually also be released digitally in the UK starting April 27th, and then sometime later in this year in Japan as well.
Woo!
Okay. Okay.
We're
Hell
going
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's like.
And on your bio, on your Instagram bio, it says you have like an 84 or 86 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're very excited about that. We worked really hard. It's hard for indie films to get reviewed even by any Rotten Tomato critics.
Yeah.
It's been our first journey releasing a first feature film, so it's hard to say for everyone else. But as indie filmmakers and reaching out actively to the critics, it's difficult. But we were really lucky and fortunate and happy to get a lot of reviews and have been reviewed really well by them. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
I would.
So, like, do you guys pay for everything, or do you go through Kickstarter, or how do you guys like manage to get the budget?
So for ZombieCon, we actually did again, like I said, this is circa 2015, 2016. We had collected some equipment from doing the web series and the short films that I was talking about previously. So I was kind of like, we'll do it with our friends. We'll get $1,000 together and we'll, get some zombie makeup and we'll make this thing happen. And then Erin was, I think, convinced me. She was like, we should try to do a GoFundMe because that's not, we've been doing like no budget things the entire time. And if we're trying to make a feature film, like that's not going to probably work out too well. So we put a lot of effort into making a GoFundMe, and I thought it looked pretty sick. It was up there. It was moderately successful. Like we raised, I think, a third of our budget. So we got to 20 grand out of 60 grand. And then we were very lucky that someone kind of saw it and was like, oh, because we didn't initially hit our budget, but someone saw it and they were like, hey, I'll cover the rest of the cost and get you to the 60. I think that you guys, you obviously have done all this. They looked at what we had done before. They looked at how much attention to detail we had on the Indiegogo and the way we kind of laid everything out. And yeah, we just got super lucky to get there. And obviously, in the realm of making films, even indie films, 60 grand is not a lot of money, right? Usually, like, even the films that come out in the theaters that they call indie films are like, I don't know, tens of millions or whatever.
Yeah.
But for us, 60 grand was like 60 times more than we ever had to make anything ever before. So we thought we were like, riding high on the hog. We're like, yeah, like
Yeah.
super pumped about it.
It's like the 60,000 was your million. Like your 60,000, that was your $1 million movie right there. When you got
Yes.
that 60, yes.
Yes, 100%. And
I wasn't.
everyone did like 20 jobs and everyone pitched in. The entire filmmaking team that people had worked with us, like the main cast, were folks that had worked with us on our web series and short films before. So we were kind of like a filmmaking family, that tribe I talked about earlier. We had created that tribe
Yeah,
and we were all just all in on the project, giving way more. So I think that we were able to stretch the budget because of that camaraderie, friendship, and kind of like that almost one piece mentality where we're kind of our own pirate crew. And, our one piece, or finding our one piece in this case, was, finishing this movie.
yeah,
And we got there.
yeah. Now, because back on the topic of the independent movies and independent circuit, because with I don't know if you guys saw it, but with Iron Lung that hit theaters, that had to be like a big W for like you guys and other people in the independent circuit.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was a great, not only milestone, I think, for transitioning from, YouTubers and content creators to the big screen, we'll call it a big, the theaters,
Yeah,
but also the financial success shows proof of concept for other content creators and what they can do. I do think obviously the movie benefited amazingly because Markiplier's audience is so massive, right? Like
yeah,
him putting out posts continuously about it, it's like the equivalent ad spend for a regular indie producer of I don't know how many millions, because he's got like a 20 million person following or
I
something
think
close to
something like
10.
that.
Yeah, so just his audience going to watch the movie is going to be a giant W. But regardless, it opens up a huge channel, and I hope that it points the money people that are involved with financing movies
Yeah,
in the direction of original voices and people that are, doing this stuff already on YouTube for their own audience and opening it up to the world, because creatively new and different stories, I think they're risky, right? Because they don't have that built-in fan group, but
yeah,
they're also some of the biggest hits that we've ever had, right? We're used to kind of seeing rehashes of the Alien or, Predator or, whatever it is, Top Gun. But at
yeah,
a time, right, in the 80s and 90s, these movies were all creatively isolated, right? They were all brand new things. And look what they were able to accomplish and how much they were able to generate over their lifetimes. And I think that, it's high time to have a new slew of brand new, kind of independently driven stories, concepts, creatures to kind of walk the next 50 years with.
yeah. Absolutely, 100% there.
Well, I know you shouldn't give anything away, but could you like dive deep into like what the future volumes are going to be about or be like compared to the first volume?
Sure. So volume two takes place after like a 10-year time gap. Obviously, we filmed the movie in 2015, and while our actors have aged beautifully,
Yeah,
we wanted to give, a little bit of realism to the world and kind of set things apart. So we pick up with our group of four characters in this kind of post initial zombie apocalypse world, right? So the survivors have banded together. They've created their cities out of makeshift materials, repurposed, trucks, repurposed housing, and they've kind of created a brand new civilization within these small, localized community. Kind of think like The Walking Dead, but like in the later seasons, right? When they've already got towns set up and kind of
Oh yeah,
ecosystems
I
developed.
gotcha.
So we pick up there, and our main four characters are living as part of this town and have various roles throughout within the town in order to keep up the defense of the kind of it's called I think it's Survivor City or something. I don't know what I called it in the script, but I think it's Survivor City. And they've got all their kind of little guard duties and everything else. And I don't want to give too much away, but I will go in a little bit deeper on Aaron's character, Claire, who I think has one of the coolest transformations. So all of our characters obviously have changed over the 10 years and have had to absorb what has just happened to the world, but none of them are really more traumatized by it than the person who obviously made the wish to begin with. And she has taken a very kind of Sarah Connor route to avenging the fact that she feels like she's now pitted the world into hell. And it's her job to try to take out all the zombies now. And it's become extremely militaristic. And she actually is the captain of a group called the Flyers. And these flyers are a group of ladies who are all slight of build, and they fly into battle suspending from giant agro drones. So those giant drones that they use to seed crop fields and stuff that can pick up giant amounts of water and tons of grain and all this stuff. That's what carries our ladies into battle, and they rain down fire from the skies with
Yo, that's
Molotov
cool.
cocktails and homemade bombs and
Yo,
all
that's
kinds of
cool.
stuff.
That's tough. Hell yeah. That I can just imagine that right now. Oh, that is cool. That's the most badass way to go into battle right there.
Yep.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that transformation and preparing for that character and filming that. Like we've got to make it happen because I need to do this.
I was gonna say, I don't know if it would spoil it, but how would you guys do the stunt work? Or yeah, I think that's the right term. The stunt work for making them look like they're flying and whatnot.
So I think it would be two parts. One part would be practical. It depends,
Okay.
obviously, on a lot of it depends on budget. But
Yeah.
technically speaking, I would love to have some practical stunt people actually hooked up to aggro drones because they can lift you off the ground. It's obviously dangerous, but that's why you have
Yeah.
trained professionals do it all. And then for a lot of the hero shots, right, your front facing shots of our main actor, I would definitely use a green screen or a void. So like one of those rooms with the large digital wall
Yeah.
that has, I think, the video going in behind, and you're shooting the characters close ups and everything against that. With a liberal amount of wind and giant fans blowing the hair everywhere. Not
Oh
going the
yeah.
Superman route necessarily, where they had like the bald cap on him, so that
Yeah.
they could like do his hair because they didn't want his eyes to squint. I want their eyes to squint and make it look as realistic as
Yeah.
possible because, of course, she's not a Kryptonian, so the
You
hair
gotta get
whipping
some
by his
realism in
face is
there.
gonna,
I
yeah,
gotcha.
exactly.
So, like, what was the hardest part of filming Volume 1?
I think the hardest part, first off, finding the money to do any kind of filmmaking is like number one. I'll just put that to the side, is usually the most difficult part. In regards to filming organization and kind of drawing all the pieces together, I'd say that it was probably the locations themselves. Finding locations at a good price in Los Angeles that we could afford and have control over and travel to and forth with all of our equipment. We didn't have money for like a grip truck or anything like that, so we actually used all of our own equipment and we loaded it up in a U-Haul and we just drove the U-Haul to all of our locations. That was kind of like our equipment truck. So that's a the indie filmmaker hack. You can use U-Hauls to
Yeah.
work as your like transport vehicles for
Yeah.
equipment, of course. But yeah,
I would
I
say, yeah, the sheer amount of details, the sheer amount of paperwork and of equipment and people and locations and timing of everything and problem solving when things inevitably go wrong. It's so many things to juggle and manage. And specifically, as for the director, for Kyle's position, it is something that you have to have a really strong constitution and really adapt well under pressure and with a lot of just insane amounts of stress that no one expects to be coming, because you do your best to plan and then problems inevitably happen, unexpected, and some that maybe you can foresee but usually unexpected. So juggling all of that and keeping calm under pressure, because every single day it's money that you can't get back, it's timing that you can't get back, it's people assembled who have taken off or, are actually scheduled and can make this happen, and you can't necessarily budget or get it done other days. It's a lot of problem solving and stress and fire under pressure that just you learn as you go, and the better that you can prepare, is great, but really you learn as you go.
And it's one of those too. I'm sure there's like mistakes, not mistakes, but I'm sure there was negative stuff that happened in volume one that you're like, oh, if it happens in volume two, we're prepared for it now.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that that's the journey of filmmaking and like everything you do. Well, I mean life,
Just
but
like life, right?
in terms
Yeah.
of filmmaking, every project I've done, I've learned, I've made a critical mistake that I feel like I've learned from and then adapted for in the next thing. And as we continue kind of walking this path, I don't think I hope it doesn't ever stop. I mean, obviously, it'd be great to be able to have the resources to solve those problems, but I don't think you can ever be perfect, right, at anything. So you're
Yeah.
always going to have something new to kind of mess up or learn from or experience and grow from. And that will just make your next movie that much better.
Yes. Or
I
even if
think
it
the last,
doesn't.
well, I think the last question I want to ask is, this one goes to you, Aaron. Do you have like a favorite moment or a favorite scene from the movie, or
Oh, it's
was it
got
like,
the initial zombie kill, and I'm super excited for you to get to see it. It was the most unexpectedly bloody, adrenaline rushing. I mean, I knew what obviously I was getting into as a producer and actor, and yet there's nothing that can prepare you when you're on set and the practical effects are all hitting right, and the adrenaline of knowing from the producer perspective that we only had this one shot, this one take. We couldn't redo it. We didn't have the budget or time. Once the blood literally hit the floor and the set and me, we couldn't redress and have me wait and take a shower and redo all that stuff. So it was so exciting and adrenaline pumping. And the fact that we nailed it on that first take and then we're able to, keep going from there. It was just, I felt like I had my Uma Thurman moment, being totally drenched, like Kill Bill, totally drenched in blood, like ready to
Okay.
go. Just, it was so badass and so exciting. And I'll never forget it. That was my favorite moment.
Okay. Nice, nice. Now, before you guys do head off, where can the viewers find you guys? And don't worry, it is in the description. I planned ahead this time. But where can they find you?
So you can find us on social media, any platform. We're most active on Instagram and Facebook, but YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever it is, at Zombieconmovie. And then our website is zombieconmovie.com. Or is it zombieconvol1.com?
ZombieCon Vol 1.
ZombieConVol1.com. Any social media platform, it's ZombieCon Movie, but the website is ZombieConVol1, the number 1.com. And we'll keep you all updated on where it's currently available, but definitely would love if anyone watching this wants to check it out. It's a fun
Yes.
movie. It's made with so much passion and heart, and we had an amazing journey in making it.
Yeah, and I will say that, for anyone who likes horror films specifically and stuff, Screamify is a great new platform that came out, and they've been awesome to indie filmmakers, and they've supported a lot of us. And I'm really excited to actually part of the reason I have to go in a little bit here is because I've got to get back to work on the finishing polishing touches on this vertical autonomous that I had mentioned earlier. So that's going to be coming out very soon. So super excited about that.
Yeah, definitely check out Scream for our next project. And ZombieCon Volume 1, you can watch it there as well. With
Yes.
also a horror buddy, which is a new thing they unveiled, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but they have 2 movies so far on the platform where you can watch it, not just the movie itself, but with a pre-recorded version of, in this case, her name is Audrey Nightmare. She's awesome. She's a horror movie reviewer, influencer. and she's sitting in the corner of the screen, like in the bottom left corner, watching ZombieCon Vol 1 along with you and reacting and everything. So it's a really cool way to experience watching horror movies in general, but ZombieCon as well.
Okay, I didn't know about that. And then one other thing too. So one of the other links I found that I put in the description for you guys is they, for those of you watching, they have a link tree that has all the other stuff like where to get the movie, buy it, rent it, and other stuff like that. So I did find your link tree that I put in the description too.
Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you guys.
Yeah, I can't wait for Volume 2.
Thank you so much. Well,
all the volumes.
All the volumes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, really appreciate you guys having us. This has been an absolute blast.
Yes, and we appreciate you coming to our little corner of nerdness. Thank you.
Yes, and you guys are always welcome back anytime.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
We would love to come back on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, when we have Autonomous out, maybe we could do an interview thing about that or talk about that some more.
That'd be great.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Awesome. Sounds fantastic, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us. And
you are welcome.
You are welcome.
But yeah, so with that out of the way, guys, we're going to do our normal outro. So hope you all enjoyed. This will be uploaded offline. So until always, guys, I'm Ware the Lock.
And I'm Alan.
And then these are the Zombicon people. Zombicon people. They're fucking amazing. I'm horrible at names. But yeah, guys, this is the Nerds Corner. Y'all just stay nerdy.